Alright, before we get into the real topic of this episode, I'd just like to say that I am putting my mental health at stake, alright, for this episode. I am tired. I have just done so much today. Like, I went to like 50 different malls, into like 100 different stores. Obviously, I'm exaggerating. But I've done so much today. Alright. I'm so tired. I'm so incredibly, immeasurably tired. Tomorrow I have to pack for Paris. And I'm in the mood to do this, but really not. Like, deep down, I'm just really not, but I just want to let you know, I am risking, like I just said, I am risking my mental health for this episode. So, with that out of the way, welcome back to another episode of Danjo no Akohiro wa Mashigati Mosuka Memoria Freese episode 450B. Where we're going to be talking about episode 3 of his Wrong to Try to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon 2, and also where we're going to do either, I think we're doing Substories 3 and 4, but I'm pretty sure it's just 3 that we're going to do, that we're going to be doing this time. So yeah, fun times await. And yeah, I suggest, I know this is going up a little late, but I suggest get some water and stuff, like I basically say every video. This is gonna be a long one. So anyway, we got a new gacha. Oh, look at that beauty. So we have a lot of stuff to talk about. A lot of stuff. I think this won't be like an hour episode. This will be like a, I think 30-minute episode is how long we need to talk about this. Because a lot of stuff happened, but I really, it's a lot to. It's a lot to cover, so I don't really want to take too much time to cover it. Hey, Raul. Cool. Alright. So yeah, like I said, we have some things to talk about with this episode. One of them being... I don't... Okay, let's just get everything done here. So, I say before I start talking about this episode, obviously we gotta, do this. Substory, boys. So, let's do this. Special Novel 3. Let us go. Alright. What's the special novel for the week? A Night Before. Is she looking at Belle's stats? SS? Except his magic. Oh yeah, it's Liari's Freese, right? Is that what it was? Or yeah. Oh, is she mad? Oh, they're in, And what could that be? Oh, I see. They're in the hostess of fertility rooms. Well, it's a big fat lie, but who cares? No. Come on, Belle. No buts about it. Chidon, Chidon. Chidon, Chidon is the lance. I love that. Okay then, so how's this gonna pan out? Oh, okay, now we're talking about this. Yeah. You're getting cooler. He really is. I can't deny it. That was cute. Alright, so. Episode 3. So, unlike, alright, hold on. What are we gonna do this episode? This-wise, I actually think I'm gonna end up doing these. Or, you know what? Crafting quests would be better, but you know what? Oh, that's right, we have this team. You know what? I guess I'll just use this team. You know, since I have it, if it's strong. I hope it is as strong as I think it is. Hold on. Let's just test. Is it strong boy team? Okay, it is strong boy team. Alright, cool. Anyway, so episode 3. It's really good. So, it was called, I think it was called Conversion Gathering, which last time to me, when I mentioned the title, felt a little bit interesting because, you know, usually conversion gatherings happen, like, before the end of the season. If you get what I'm if you get what I'm saying. And so, yeah, I just think that's a little weird. That's what I said last time, but I kind of got it now. And I feel like things are. It's weird because I feel like things are moving along a little quicker than they should, and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm saying it's an interesting thing. Things don't really go super quick. I mean, it's probably been a while since I've seen Season 1, even though it hasn't been a while since I've seen Season 1. But things seem to be going quicker. But also slow at the same time, if that makes sense. So yeah, let's start talking about the episode before we run out of time. So, it starts off with, what is it? With old Soma Boy, with old Soja Boy is what I'm gonna call him. Old Soja Boy and Xanis and Arde, which of course is to say, Soma and, Lily and Xanis. Xanis being the guy that Lily joined with at the end, or in the middle, sort of late beginning of episode 2, on top of the roof when she left Wealth, to go back to the Soma Familia, because apparently the Soma Familia and the Apollo Familia are combining into one. And so, Lily basically just was captured by them, and they wanted her, so, like, we get a little bit more context on why she went with them. It was apparently because, like, it's, okay, let me try to get my mind straight. Alright, so basically, the Soma Familia, the reason the Soma Familia got involved with the Apollo Familia was because the Soma Familia wanted to get back Arde, because apparently Arde was a really good, unit, I think? Not unit, oh wow, okay, we get stuff. A really good unit, what-wise, use-wise, 10-minute mark. So, and you know, like, and apparently they were the whole reason that, again, why they all started, why Apollo and Soma started attacking Belle and Hestia, the Hestia Familia, if you may, and Lily's like, alright, then I'll stop. Like, if you put down your troops, then I'll come with you. And so that's what happens. And then we cut to, like, after the battle. I'm sure there's, like, a few other things sprinkled there. I'll mention a few other scenes. There's because a bunch of little and big things happen in the episode. But before I continue with the whole Lily thing, I want to say we got to see, I believe it was Anya, Chloe, and Seer. And then much later we saw Rue. But I'll mention that later. We saw Anya, Chloe, and Seer praying that, you know, Belle would win and that he wouldn't back off. Like he wouldn't back down from the war game. Wouldn't run away, I mean. And so, Seer's like, yeah, like he's not going to do that, and then yeah, they're just like, okay, he can do it. And then yeah. So continuing on, Lily, we then cut back to Lily, and we see her in a jail cell, I believe. Yeah, in a jail cell, in an underground jail cell, or prisoner cell. And Xanis put her in there and has a guard watching over her. And Xanis is like, we need you for your transformation power, for your rare transformation power. Lily can be a human and a plum, which is interesting. Because, I mean, we already knew that, but it's just interesting, even though we already knew that. And she really didn't like that. I mean, you wouldn't like if you were being used by the Familia that you're in, even though that's, like, what's happened already, I guess. Anyway, my point is, Xanis is Potato. But actually, before that whole exchange between Xanis and Lily in, you know, outside and inside the jail cell, or the prison cell with a guard watching her, Xanis brought Lily to Soma himself, which, you know, we never seen Soma himself, but, man, if I were to ever imagine who Soma would be, that's him. And Soma's just beautiful. Soma's a beautiful, a dashing man, a dashing god. He's the most emo god I've seen. He's an emo god. Anyway, he's great. He's a great character. A better character than Xanis. But basically, Lily's like, I want to leave the Familia, she says to Soma. And then Xanis is like, oh, this isn't what we agreed on. And then Soma's like, what, like... No, Xanis is like, what would she have to do to be able to, leave the Familia? And then he's like, you need to get me, I think one of them said it, like 10 million Valis, and she's like, I don't have that kind of money. And then they're like, well, one of them, Xanis is like, alright, I guess you're just gonna have to be our prisoner or whatever. And so, anyway, she's in the prison cell. I know this review is a little confusing, but what can I do? And so she's back in the prison cell, or like we go back to the point where she's in the prison. Anyway, so Xanis then leaves her, and then we actually cut to this other thing, which is happening afterward. which is Hestia, and I'll try to name them off. Hestia, Wealth, Chigusa, Makoto, Oka, Naza, I think. Yeah, all of them. And of course Hestia, like I said, they were all having a meeting. A conversion, if you will. But not really a conversion, it's more of a gathering at first. They were gathering to make a plan to rescue Arde, aka Lily. And they're like, but why should we do that? Like, shouldn't you be helping Belle, or shouldn't we be helping Belle for War Game? And then Hestia gave a speech about, oh, Arde, like if Belle doesn't know that that Lily is safe, then he can't use his full potential to War Game it up. And so then they're like, alright, then we'll help you. And then that plan was set where they would, go here, go there. It's pretty cool. Anyway, so then we cut to not a banquet, I think it's a meeting, because we've had too many banquets at this point, but apparently now we gotta have a meeting of gods. We had like 2 banquets, now we gotta have a meeting. I think that's pleasurable, I think, I don't know. Anyway, so apparently there's a War Game council meeting thing that Hestia has to attend to, and she missed one, and she was about to miss the second one, of course. God's meeting, of course, there was Hermes and Take and Mayak and Hermes, Apollo, obviously, not Soma, because Soma's been stirring up that wine like no one's business. And so, yeah. And so they were waiting for Hestia, and then, they waited long enough, and so Apollo was like, I'm gonna have to tell the guild that she forfeited. And then, just as he was about to get up, frickin' Hestia knocked on that door, and then she's like, was I too late? Or something like that. Something witty. Anyway, so then she sat down in front of Apollo. There was like a huge round marble table separating them. And then he said, okay, I want to make one thing clear, that if I win, Belle is mine. And then Hestia's like, and if we win? And then he's like, we'll do whatever you want, or something like that. And then it cut to, and then it continued with, not with Hermes. It continued with Apollo to say, we need somebody to raffle, I guess, or pick what kind of war game Belle will be fighting, because apparently there's different types of war games, I think. I guess it's just decided upon what's in a box. And so he asked Hermes, of course, the neutral god, which, I mean, if we're being serious here, this boy ain't neutral at all. I mean, he's gotten a little bit better neutrally. So anyway, so Hermes basically has to pick from the box of papers that either decide that Belle has to fight one person, or a bunch of people, or just no people, or, well, not no people, but you know what I mean. And so Hermes had to be the one to choose, and he really hated that because, he really wants Belle to win. Of course, because this guy's no longer neutral. We can clearly see that he's on Belle's side over here. But maybe also not? I don't know. Anyway, he's neutrally on Belle's side. I don't know what Hermes is anymore. Hermes is a great character. All the gods are great characters. All the goddesses are great characters. Except for Apollo. Soma apparently beats Apollo. Anyway, continuing, getting back on track. Oh yeah, so Hermes, looks, or not looks, but he picks a paper out of the box, and he gets siege. And 20-minute mark, that means that Belle has to fight a siege of the people, of adventurers from Epi.450. And then you know, Hestia's like, what? That's crazy. And Hermes is like, oh man, that sucks. Like, he genuinely, like, hates that he picked that. And so, you know, all the gods, you know, not all of them, but some of the gods and goddesses that we know are like, oh, come on, that sucks. And so Apollo's like, well, that's the rules. And then Hermes is like, can I make a suggestion? And then, Apollo's like, what? And then Hermes is like, shouldn't Belle have help? Like, shouldn't we give Belle, you know, at least some ally or a helper of some kind from out of his familia? And then Apollo's like Apollo disagrees at first, but then, you know, yeah, Apollo obviously disagrees at first, you know, saying like, oh, but that's not in the rules. Then Freya, goddess of beauty over here, starts popping out like one of the greatest, I guess you could call it a diss, in Memoria Freese, saying, Apollo, you scared? She says, like, Apollo, are you scared that he's gonna have help? Like, do you think him and his unnamed helper will have help? I mean, will actually be able to defeat the siege? And then he's like, no, not at all. And then everybody, all the gods in the meeting were all like, helpers. So then I was like, all right, we'll give him one helper from outside Arario. And then everyone's like, he's so petty. And I'm like, yeah, he's so petty. And so the meeting ends like that, and then we follow Hestia, and then I think Mayak and Take, or Take and Hermes. I don't know, there's so many gods, it's insane. But anyway, they're going down an elevator, coming from, you know, after the meeting, and they're talking about, it's like, but what kind of adventure is there from outside Arario that we would know? Because, you know, in show, we really haven't been outside of Arario, except if you're counting Arrow of the Orient, or Orient of the Arrow, or whatever the hell you call it at this point, which I really need to get that movie to actually see it, even though we played the freaking event, and even though it was like 4 freaking hours, that was a word, so, anyway, like I was saying, Orient of the Arrow. Oh, right. So, we've never been outside Arario, in case, you know, except you include Arrow of the Orient or Orient of the Arrow, as canon. Which, I'm not sure if it is. If it is, then... Can we get some talk about Artemis up in here? Anyway, so, continuing, so they're talking, and then Hestia's like, I have somebody that I know from outside, which, I mean, I feel like she's referencing Artemis, but, you know, Artemis be Arta dead, but, that wasn't a good joke. Anyway, so I don't know who she's thinking of. When Hestia knows she knows somebody outside of Aurora that's an adventurer that could help, I'm thinking one of the two people, either the Neko lady with the red robe, you know who I'm talking about? Like, one of the new characters, one of the two new girls we see in the trailer, in the intro, actually. So I'm thinking it's one of those adventurers, I believe. If not, well then, I don't know who it could be. But if it's anyone, please, out of all the people in the world, let it be Ruby, as that's kind of what it's tending towards. But anyway, continuing. I really can't keep my words intact. We're gonna have to make this 40 minutes long. So she suggests someone that she knows, but then she's like, but before we do that, we need to rescue Lily. So then, cuts back to Lily. We do have some... Belle's basically not in this episode at all, which I absolutely love. You know, I'm not saying that I hate Belle or anything. I mean, I'm pretty sure everybody freaking loves Belle at this point. But, you know, it's fine. You know, I'd like to see a non-Belle episode, if that makes sense. But we do get to see him training with Tiona and Eyes, which just sinks my heart knowing that sometime in the past that was Eridine and Orna. Anyway, so like I was saying, he's only really seen being trained by them and fighting with them. He has one last scene at the very end where he's fighting, like, really good for once. Yeah, for once. Even though, you know, he totally fought against that giant freaking monster in the dungeon. Floor 18 or something. And then he fought against the Minotaur on that first adventure he had in, like, episode 7? 9? 12? I don't know. Anyway, one of the levels, one of the episodes, but he actually fought good against Aes for once, and Tiona is what I mean. Anyway, so, moving on from there, we're not talking about Belle anymore, because there's actually no point, because he's never here anymore. Well, he's not in this episode, like I said. So then Lily, we cut back to Lily. Lily's still in her soul cell, and then Xanis comes back, and then he's like, are you happy or something? And then Lily's like, no, I'm really mad, and then, she says something about the family, I forget what happens, but Xanis starts showing him his true self, being like, man, that Soma wine, like, he starts going on about Soma wine and how it's, like, the best thing in the world. Like, he would do anything for it. Obviously, like all the other Soma familias. But not Lily. And so, they basically talk for a little bit. The guard's still there. The guard does have I have a little sense of the guard after, like, the last clip, where we saw Lily, but... we saw, like, after Xanis and Lily talked in the jail cell, like, not in the jail cell, but Xanis outside the jail cell and Lily inside the jail cell, prison cell, whatever, it's the same thing. And, you know, the guard was there, you know, after he left, I looked at that guard, you know, the camera sort of, not focused on the guard, but it kind of looked at him for a minute, and I'm like, yeah, that guard about to free Lily, and, you know, surprise, surprise, he did. Only after, Xanis, you know, of course, tormented her, or whatever, threatened her, and then, apparently, someone told, I think, maybe it was the guard, I don't know, somebody told Xanis that, that they're intruders, that it was a small goddess, and then 5 other people, and then other people from other familias, which of course is meaning Hestia, Wealth, Makoto, Oka, Chigusa, and Naza. So cool. So then Xanis leaves, and then Lily's like, no, don't hurt them. You promised not to hurt them. And then he's like, well, we're gonna have to, so... And then she's like, I'll do... Well, he's like, then I won't help you. I won't use my transformation spell. And then he's like, if you won't, then we'll make you drink the Soma wine. Once you have a single sip of it, then you'll be under the control and you'll be fully loyal to the Soma Familia, no matter what. And then she's like, alright, and then, you know, then she's like, man, I really want to help them, and then he leaves off, and then, you know, she's crying, you know, a little bit, I guess, I forget. And, well, ticked off also. I think she also slams her head against a bar, which I think she bleeds, which is... Why is that normal? Anyway, so... I mean, it's not, but feels like I've seen that a few times in this frickin' show. Anyway, 30-minute mark. So, and then Xanis leaves, and then the guard's like, tosses the keys into the cell, and she's like, why? And then the guard's like, Xanis is a nuisance, he's like a stupid idiot or something, and then he's like, I didn't see anything, and then I'm like, thank every god that isn't Apollo and Goddess. That isn't Artemis because she's dead. But not really. That this guard hated Xanis. And so Lily then gets to escape to the closest window, able to see fight, and then, to the closest sort of window, and then she sees Well and Makoto, Tagusa, Oka, and Naza fighting the guards. And she's like, guys, you gotta stop. And then Hestia is like, no, we're here to save you. And she's like, but doesn't Belle, but you don't need me. Belle needs you guys. But then Hestia is like, Belle needs you. It's like, without you, then Belle won't be at his full potential. And then she's like, well, shit. And so then she's like, stop fighting, and then they don't listen. So then Lily goes all the way up, runs all the way up the stairs, saying like, oh my god, why do they need such a terrible person like me? Obviously referencing that she betrayed Belle in the first season, blah 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 blah. And so then she runs up the stairs, she goes to Soma's wine room, Breaking Bad room, and she's like, Soma, please stop the fight. Please stop the fight. I'll do anything. I'll stay in the Familia. I'll do whatever it takes. Just like the Avengers. And Avengers Endgame. And like Avengers and the Avengers Endgame re-release that popped over Avatar. Which is gonna get like 8 different sequels in the span of like 8 years. Anyway. Continuing. Not from that, but from Lily. So then Lily says that, and then Soma's, that's like when we get a better look of Soma, we can see his single eye, and then his just black hair coming down from his head, looking like I said, the most, I mean, isn't that Billie Eilish, whatever you call him, but he's an emo boy. He's like, if you know this, hold on, wait, no, I didn't want to, okay, well, if you know it, I'll say this. If you know the person I'm about to reference, then cool. Not Zane. Shoot. Come on, I can think. Soma reminds me of Zane from Aphmau roleplays. If you know who Aphmau is, of course, freaking YouTuber that I used to watch the roleplays of years ago, that I did a 1-hour repeat of a song that was the introduction for one of her summer roleplays in 2016? Yes. And it has like 20,000 something views on this channel. You can listen to it. It's a great song. You can go watch her. Aphmau. Beautiful lady. Anyway, she's a gamer. Like everyone else these days. Even PewDiePie. Anyway, let's stop freaking diverting off track. Continuing. Anyway, so Lily's like, Soma, can you do that? Can you just stop the fight? And then Soma's like, she doesn't. He's like, huh? And then she's like, please, I'll do anything. Just stop the fight. And then Soma just, gives her the, most insane, not challenge, but, challenge she's ever faced, and says, and like pours some Soma, the famous, the most beautiful, the richest Soma wine into a wine glass, or into, I think it was just a cup, but whatever. Sad that it wasn't like a golden, like wine glass, looking all majestic like a king, but I guess not. People aren't rich in this world. Despite people being rich in this world. Anyway, so, Soma's like, if you can... Okay, let me just freaking max out my stamina again. Alright, there you go. We good now, Holmes. Alright, homies. So, by the way, there's an OP team over here. Can we just call this the OP? Okay, I gotta stop freaking diverting off the track. So, Soma says, here, if you can drink the Soma wine and afterwards say the same thing to me, then I'll hear you out. And so, I'm over here being like, Lily, you better not drink that, because the minute you drink that, we about to have another 5 episodes where we gotta rescue this girl. And so, I'm terrified as hell. Lily drinks the Soma wine, and I'm like, my girl Lily about to die. My girl Lily about to be excluded from the rest of the whole show. But then my girl Lily over here overcomes the greatest challenge in a second. So, not only does she, not chug down, I guess it's a chug. Yeah, after she basically chugs down the entire cup of Soma wine, this girl then starts to get, well, not high, not trippy, it's sort of a hippie, no, trip high. Try? Yes. Try. She is try. So, anyway, what I'm saying is, she got a little bit trippy, and she passed out on the floor. Of course, she was instantly drunk, and then just set off into the drunk verse? I don't know. Freaking into her own mind. And she was just passed out beyond belief. And Soma's like, alright, well, whatever. She's done for. So he just continues to make his wine. Then Lily over here having, the fever dream of her life, I think. Not really fever dream, but anyway. She's in the space, and she's passed out. And in her mind, she sees Belle saying nothing except smiling at her. And then she just regains consciousness like nothing. It's literally like she's hit with an anvil to the head. Is my comparison here. She's basically just hit with an anvil to her head and just is concussed for 2 seconds and then just comes back to life in the snap of in the Soma of a second, sure. In the Soma of a second. She just revives from trippy trips. And then she, of course she comes back and then she's like, Soma, please stop the fight. And then Soma's like, did this girl legit just survive the one? And he's like, yo, if she can survive the one, holy sh... And so, this guy then throws a barrel of wine, I think, and literally, outside the balcony where he can see, of course, them fighting. And so then Soma throws the barrel out onto the place. I thought it was about to explode, about to destroy all of Arayo, but it was just apparently just a warning to stop the fight. And so he says, "Stop the fight," and then the fight stops. And then Xanis gets in there and he's like, You idiot. Wait, I feel like I've heard somebody say that before. Right, Flowey. Why is Undertale still coming up these days? Freaking love it, though. Anyway, continuing. We're getting so sidetracked here and there. We're talking about PewDiePie. We're talking about AFMA. We're talking about Undertale. We're talking about Minecraft. So we're going to be talking about Fortnite, but... who cares about that? Anyway, so Xanis is like, well, this Soma's an idiot. So Xanis then says, at least I'll have you, talking to Arde. And then just as Xanis is about to snatch Arde, freaking Wealth comes into the rescue. And I think it was Naza who shot an arrow, which was maybe it was a harpoon gun. I don't know. I think it was a harpoon gun that she shot to the balcony, and then Welf ran up the rope, or yeah, ran on the rope upward to the balcony, and then just sword kicked this Vanis guy to the ground, and then saved Lily. And someone was just amazed by this. Well, not really, but silently, I could tell that he was amazed. 40-minute mark, and so, and then Lily said to Soma, like, I have one more favor to ask you. You know, of course, everyone being free and everything, it's fine now. The fighting stopped. Everyone's safe. No one died, thank God. Except Xanis. Can he die? Anyway, so everything's back to normal. Well, not really, but really. So then Lily's like, alright, Soma, can you do me one more favor? And then he's like, what? And what happens next, which is also the end of the episode, is so, I wish I cried, I guess, because it's such a beautiful moment. So what happens is, Soma, you know, it cuts to Soma, Hestia, and Lily being in a room in the mansion or something. And what basically happens is that they have, you know, she's sitting down and her back is exposed, you know, having the blessing written on her from Soma. And Soma basically just what he does is that he just sees like, to prove, because he really didn't think that she had his blessing. He thought that, like, what, a girl like this who survived my wine is what I'm thinking, like, had my blessing and didn't succumb to the wine. And so he didn't really believe that. And then Hestia, I think, then pricked her finger, and then bloody finger, whatever, and then put her finger on Lily's back, and the design, the blessing, changed to Hestia. And in that moment, I realized, did Hestia over here just give Lily her blessing? And did Soma just give away his blessing to Lily? So does that mean that Lily's a part of the Hestia familia? And in that moment, I'm like, hold up. Y'all telling me that this is happening right now? And so Lily's now a part of the Hestia familia, and then she runs off to the group, and then Hestia and Soma have a quick talk, saying, like, do you think, can you believe that she is one of your, that she was one of your children? And then he's like, no, I don't believe that, or something. And so, you know, then Lily goes back to them, you know, all fun times, and then it cuts to a really good scene here that I really like. Like, they're all out of the mansion, and then everyone leaves except for Lily and Hestia, who are together. And then it cuts to, I think, the next day. I think there's like a scene there where where Belle and Aes and Tiona are fighting each other, training. And then it cuts to the next day where Take is in his little place, on the porch outside in the backyard. And he's like, man, I really want to help Hestia, but I can't, you know? And so then he's pacing back and forth, and Makoto comes to him saying, Take. And then Take's like, what? And then Makoto says, I want to join Belle's familia. I want to help Belle's familia, or join Belle's familia. And that moment I'm like, wait, is she about to join the familia too? And then, you know, Take's like, what? And then it cuts to, I believe, Welf asking Wealth asking Hephaestus to join the Hestia Familia and leave the Hephaestus Familia. She's like, what? And then she's like, but don't you wanna make or craft swords superior to magic swords? And he's like, as long as I'm a blacksmith, I can do my work anywhere. And she's like, give me another reason. And then he's like, for friends, and then this and that. And anyway, so he's allowed, and then, I mean, we don't see him get the blessing, but we can only assume that he gets the blessing, as well as Makoto. And then after all that, it cuts to Hermes, I believe. Yeah, I think it cuts to Hermes, and I think a few other people in an alleyway, including Rue, and they're asking Rue, like, please help Belle, do whatever you can. And then, you know, I think Sear's there and Anya's there, and they're like, yeah, help him. And then Rue's like, alright, because the thing is that no one really knows Rue, and so she can technically be, like, if nobody knows Rue, adventurer-wise, or just anything-wise, especially Apollo-wise, then she's technically an outsider. Well, from an outside familia. Outside Aurario familia. And so she can technically help join Belle in the war game. And so that's what I think is going to happen. I think that Rue and Belle are going to join forces and fight together in the war game, which is pretty exciting. And yeah, I think that's just how it ended. So Lily, Wealth, and possibly Makoto all basically joined the Hestia Familia, which kind of make me happier than anything else, because I am so happy that happened. And then the episode ends. And, you know, just a great episode. A really great episode to not have much of Belle. And of course, you know, after the conversation, you know, like I mentioned earlier, Belle, Ace, and Tiona have a little talk. And he fights really good, and then ends there. Of course, there's the outro and all that. But then after the outro, which of course, favorite song of all time at this point, listened to it like a billion times. Even though it's been out for like 3 weeks. So anyway, so the episode ends, and then it, like, at the end of every episode, it teases the name for the upcoming episode. The next episode is called The War Game. Again, it's rushing. I feel like it's rushing really fast. Because, you know, episode 1, we finished. No, well, episode 1 we're introduced to the Apollo Familia, and then we're challenged. We're you know, episode 1, we hear, you know, we meet the Apollo Familia. We go to the banquet. We have a fun time with Eyes and all of that. We sort of get the sense that Bella's being helped by other familias, you know, AS-wise. You know, Loki and Hestia have a low-key fight about you know what. And then at the end, my boy Apollo is like, alright, I challenge you to war game. Then, of course, second episode, you know, it cuts to Belle and Hestia, you know, being chased by Apollo Familia and Soma Familia at the same time. Lily, you know, just goes off and is taken somewhere else. Well, Take Familia help, as well as Naza, help Belle and Hestia escape. Hestia and Belle almost escape. I mean, almost die like a billion times. And trying to get to the guild, but they can't, and so they end up going to the Apollo Mansion, and Hestia's like, I accept the war game. And then Hestia's like, do whatever you need to, Belle, to be able to become stronger in these next few days. And then Belle's like, alright, 50-minute mark, and then Hestia's like, I'll take care of Lily and all that, please trust me. And then like that, it ends like that. And then this episode's just, they save Lily. You know, Lily, Wealth, Makoto are all given the blessing, are all given the blessing, hopefully, by Hestia, and they're all part of the Hestia Familia. Which technically means they can also fight in the war game, which, now that I think about it, might be 6 people in the war game, which is better. So, cool stuff. But then, but it just feels a little rushed. I'm not saying that I hate rushed. I'm not saying that I hate rushed. It's just, it's just weird. It's just a little interesting. It's a little out of the ballpark. But you know what? I like it. I'm actually happy that we're moving along pretty well, and that the next episode 4 of like 13, is basically what the finale of the season should be called. But you never know, alright? You know, you never really know what's gonna happen at Wargame. Because the Wargame, I'll give them this. They did say the Wargame was gonna be in like 3 or so days. And that's basically the days that have passed in the show itself. Like, they've been trying to postpone it as best they can. And so, it's fine that it's next episode, but I feel like it being called Wargame, it's not misleading. I feel like, something's bound to go haywire there. I feel like it's gonna be Wargame, but something wrong, a big twist is gonna happen. I feel it. It feels too quick to wrap it up. But you never know. I'm curious on if the other 2 new characters that we haven't formally met are gonna be involved with this story, or it's gonna be a part of another story. I wonder if we're gonna see more of Daphne and the blue-haired girl, or the red-haired girl and Daphne. I just gotta wonder. I don't know what's to come. But I can say one thing for certain. This was a really relaxing episode, but also, I think it was a character progression episode. I'll say that. It was a character progression episode for Lily. It was a progression episode for Soma Familia when it comes to actually seeing Soma himself. It was a progression episode in having 4 new members to the Hestia Familia, possibly. So yeah, it was a progression episode, and I like that. Like last episode, it's sort of a mix, because the first episode was sort of a Memoria Freese episode. The next episode, the second episode was like a really dark episode. The third episode was just a progressed episode, and I like that. You have a little bit of something new, and I like that. So, that's basically all I have to say here. This is a great episode, all in all. A+, definitely. Sorry, SS rank. Which, SS rank on everything besides magic, Substory-wise, that's pretty good. I mean, In the game itself, there's not even a thing called SS. Is there? It's just like, whoa. But yeah. So, not much else to talk about. Like I said, fun episode all in all. I can't wait for next week. And the great thing about next week, actually, is that next week, I could possibly, just possibly, be able, maybe, be able to react to episode 4. So let's see how that works. That would be pretty interesting. I'd definitely like to see that. If I can, I might react to episode 4 on this channel. As a part of an episode. I could do that. And of course, I would react to it in France. Of course, it would be possibly at night. Which, now that I think about it, you know, the great thing about Paris is that I can record a video at 12 at night, and it can be uploaded at 6 in the morning. Well, not 6 in the morning. And it'll be uploaded at like 6:30 here. Because, you know, I'm 6 hours ahead in Paris. So, it's cool stuff. Anyway, so, that's for me. Like I said, great episode all in all. Of course, like I said, if I can, then I'll try to do a full-on, full-hour plus review, including the reaction of the next episode of As Trying to Pick Up Girls on 2. War game. So, interesting stuff. Anyway, tell me your thoughts about about what you thought of episode 3. Gathering, conversion, gathering. Also, if you can, please, if you watched last episode, which last episode is really episode 450A, and check the comment from the episode prior to 450A, talking about the fight over here, over yonder, the legendary Bull Strike level over here. If you don't mind checking out last episode, even though I'm pretty sure you've already watched last episode to get this to get to this episode, please just tell me, whoever, what I'm doing wrong. I have the team to be able to defeat this. Is it the levels? Is it the armor? Is it the swords? Please tell me. I'll take any suggestions. Only thing is that we have, like, 3 days. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, this is me for now, and thank you all for watching the episode of Dungeon Nakoira wa Mashigiate Imasuka Memoria.450B, where we talked about stuff, and like I said, I am very tired. I'm going to sleep right this second. Well, yeah, I'm gonna go to sleep. Usually I'd stay up till 1 in the morning, but I mean, tomorrow I got a lot of packing to do. And a Spotify playlist to make for the extremely long plane ride. 9 hours. And also, I probably even have to, you know, I'm probably gonna get a charger, not a charger, what do you call it? I'm probably gonna get a portable charger, portable phone charger, if that makes sense, like, you know, the little charger station that you connect the USB into, and then you connect it to your phone too, and then you can charge your phone without plugging it into an outlet, you know what I mean. I'll probably get one of those to be able to survive the 9-hour flight and to do vlog material for Paris. But that's not gonna be until Sunday. Tomorrow, though, I will say this: tomorrow's episode will be very chill. because it is episode 451, where, it is after Argonaut. Well, not really, but really. And seeing as it's going to be after Argonaut, we are going to slowly move back into things. Either if it's Amelia Rush or Interacts, we'll just have to see about that. Anyway, this is the 1 hour mark where I've apparently hit that somehow. And yeah, this is me also. And I will see you guys next episode of Dungeon Onanako Hiroama Shigata Muskamarei 2. I said this has been me for like the 80th time. Arigatou gozaimasu, and sayonara. Good night, New York, Japan, US, Michigan, Mississippi, the whole goddamn planet. Bye.